So, uh, at UC Berkeley, maybe Lawrence Livermore Labs, one of the Berkeley associated labs, they decided to improve their intrusion detection system. And they got rid of the firewall and they replaced it with this product that they called Bro that would analyze incoming traffic, and then you would program rules of what to do with it. And they had rules like if anybody sends malicious traffic, block all traffic from that IP address for just half an hour and then let it through. And they said that was more effective than any static firewall rules. But there was no documentation at all. Seriously, if you went to the documentation for Bro, it said, oh, if you want to understand anything, grep the source code. That was it. And I'm like, everybody in the world laughed at them. Are you out of your mind? Nobody can use a product like this. And so they decided to go public and they renamed it Zeek because Bro was not a professional enough name. So anyway, this is it. It's Zeek. And by the way, it's awesome. And one of the things that's awesome is the tutorial. They really responded to the complaint that you don't have good documentation. They made awesome documentation. Not only is it documentation, it's an online version of it you can run in the browser and practice using it. So the idea is instead of having a firewall, you have an IDS and you program what you want it to do in this little language that looks like Python. So this is init, it will run the init script, and when you leave, it will run the done script. So this is it. It's running a real version of Zeek. You can run it. And here's the output. Hello world, goodbye world. And here's logs of how much memory it took and stuff like that. And you can now modify it. You can change these messages, of course, like hello world 233, and run it. And you'll really do that. And here you learn to program this language step by step. So here you learn how to load scripts and functions and variables and so on. And if you go down a little bit later, you get to an exercise where it's going to actually, it supports pattern matching. You can do pattern matching in a string, but the amazing thing about this is exercise here. There, exercise 2, that's a solution. Let me get the exercise. Okay, here's the exercise. You're going to hunt through and find these traffic going into these subnets. And you're going to find the first 10 connections and count how many people come in from different addresses. But the interesting thing is you load the exercise traffic. You can load PCAPs in here and analyze them, practice analyzing them, and you can upload your own PCAP. You could use this web interface to do real analysis of real traffic. So it is pretty amazing. And so if you want to go through this, you learn this little Python-like thing. It's very friendly. And then you start analyzing PCAPs and counting occurrences. So you can see if you're under attack by how many login attempts, how many DNS requests, or whatever you want. And this is considered extremely powerful. People do it a lot. I have a bunch of flags you can find here just by reading the documentation or by doing the exercises, and then you can install it on your own machine if you like and see how it goes. And it's very nice. By default, it makes logs of the common things like HTTP and DNS that you can query, and you can program anything you like in there. Yeah? I don't know. That's a good question. If you load it, it goes somewhere up on their server, and I assume they throw it away, but I guess it's a privacy issue. You don't really know. That's why it'd be better to install it yourself if you're going to use real data. It might contain proprietary information. A very good point, of course. So install it yourself. It just goes on Linux, and then you can make it yourself, and you see you can find the DNS requests in a nice DNS file and an HTTP log. They're by default, and you can even configure it. Now, by default, when you do logins, it will not log the username and password for privacy, but you can turn that on, and then it will log the username and password. So you control whether you want it to do that. And here you can make a script to detect a SSH brute force attack, and there's really not much to it. Here, this is how it detects SSH. This is the message it's going to send, and here it says limit 10, and I think somewhere you specified the time, but anyway, you can do that, and then you'll see the alert from an SSH brute force attack. So it's a fun thing to try, and it's considered very powerful. So let me stop this one.